Back to how do you get the big accounts? You start by getting the small accounts. Now, I know this is stupid. There's no hack to this.
Headed to the top, ain't none of y'all stopping me. Used to say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids, own property. Bubble-eyed beans that look like that be watching me. Okay, I lied about the beans, but that was hard though. I'm still in that black act, but she starred though. Cause that's all it takes. I'm flashing for. I'm on my grind, not no more fashion show.
You spoke on regulations, and I remember you earlier, you said that you guys got into franchising. Mm-hmm. And so I was considering that at one point, but then I saw the regulations that came with franchises. So I decided maybe I should get into licensing instead. Have you looked into that at all?
Yeah, we had several different models. The reason we went master franchise and franchising, we had 3 masters, and then they had very similar to the Jani-King model or a couple of the. They're not bad models depending on what you want to do. And everybody that got hired into that, they were called, I guess I got to stop and think of what they were called. They did the work themselves mostly, okay? The franchise business, we had masters that owned the territories, and then they had people working for them. But they were actually the franchisees that did the work. It's extremely difficult. We're in the state of Washington. We're regulated by the SEC. It's a nightmare. It cost us $15,000 a year just to get the accounting done to comply. So there's compliance states, there's non-compliant states. I would look at the licensing. You've got to be careful with that. You need a good attorney to make sure you got your self covered, because there's a fine line between licensing and franchising and what you promise. And if you cross it, then you're operating outside of the boundaries of the law. So but there's states that just allow you to do business licensing, or business opportunities is another word, okay? And that's where you may provide the background and the knowledge for a fee, and they're pretty much their own independent operator. So there's a lot of ways to do that. Subcontracting is under, at least out here in the West, is under extreme pressure. You know, California now, you can't do gig work or subcontracting. They've got laws against it. I know, I won't say what company, they lost a $2 million lawsuit in California because they reclassified their subcontractors as employees. No couple in Washington that have gotten into that mess. So it's real dicey. So, you know, go into that carefully if you're going to do that. But it can be done and done. But again, you really need legal counsel to get through those waters. And it depends on what state you're operating.
So let me ask you this. I know when I spoke to Ed, he told me that you had the Microsoft account. Yep. And as well as some other large accounts. So can you kind of share a few tips with us on how to get larger accounts like those?
I've done this before in a couple of videos, and everybody hates my tips because basically there is no hack to getting a large account unless some of your in-laws or bloodline are running it, okay? Right. They're going to give you a shot. You have to do the work. I'll address Microsoft in a second and the larger one. But we have Microsoft, Tektronix. I mean, we're talking about all these were $1 million a year facilities. Fujitsu, Fairchild Camera and Instrument. We did Samsung. We were in the Silicon Forest down there. That's another story. We did Komatsu. So we were highly specialized in doing clean rooms, which is a specialty area, which used to be high margin, which is now a lot lower margin. We also did food plant sanitation. But getting into this, I try to explain this to everybody, and I look back at I've looked back at my own business, and you asked one question, could anybody do what I did today? It's a different environment. When I started my business, we didn't have national competition. We didn't have big franchise systems. We had people like Xerox, you know, they hired locally and regionally. And a lot of that has changed. So it gets more difficult, but it can be done. Back to how do you get the big accounts? You start by getting the small accounts. Now, I know this is stupid. There's no hack to this. My first account was once a week. It was a 400 square foot bicycle shop. I got paid $10 a week to do it, okay? And then I got the little office next door, the finance place. And then I got one over there. And then pretty soon you just keep building. And I think the trick is how you present your company. So if I don't have a building that's 50,000 square feet, okay, but I do 100,000 square foot of work for other people, I just tell them I'm already doing 100,000 square foot. I've got these companies, and doing 100,000 square foot in different locations, sir has, or ma'am, has certainly got to be more difficult than just cleaning your building. And you stay in your, people like yours, you stay in your corral. If all you do is clean buildings, clean them and clean them well. Be cost competitive and provide more service. And that's easy for the small entrepreneur to do. You can outserve an ABM, a Service Master, any of those guys. If you're running your own shop, the biggest advantage you have is you. Use you. The owner's taking care of stuff. You're not going to get that in too many places. And what I did is I just kept bouncing around, grabbed a few medical clinics, because you'd ask this question, you sent them. And pretty soon I had about 40,000 square foot of 10,000 medical clinics. I got my first big facility of 60,000 square foot next to the hospital. From there, I got the next one, which was 100,000 square foot. And when I had enough of those, my first semiconductor plant, I used those references to get in. And we knew nothing about semiconductors. We studied the industry. It took us a month to develop this bid, but it was our first $30,000 a month account back in the 80s. And the thing grew to be, I think it was 50 or 60,000 in $1980 a month. So you have to build, and you have to get a reputation, and you have to have references. And one thing Ed says, and I love it, and it's a bit of a raving fan sort of approach from Ron Zemke, but spoil your customers rotten, particularly the ones that are good to you and you like and are taking care of you, because they're going to be the door to your next customer, the next jump.
Thank you for watching my video, and make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video, because I know you did, and also hit subscribe, and right beside that subscribe button is going to be a notification bell. You gotta click that, because guess what? You never know when I'm gonna go live. As a matter of fact, I might go live right now, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss my videos, all right? And if you want to start or grow your business, check out cleanbiznetwork.com, all right? We have cleaning business starter kits. We have a lead generation service to help you grow your cleaning business, all type of stuff. And also, don't forget to download the Calculated Clean mobile app as well, all right? So that's what I got for y'all until you click another video and go watch, man. Watch another video, why not? Binge on it.